The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it's Friday.
And we're going nuts here today, that's for sure.
You got more mics. You got more mics than the president when he speaks, and he's got every news media outlet in the world here.
Yeah, well, we're running multiple feeds today for testing for Monday's People's Debate, which is just before the show even went on the air. I already had another phone call. This is becoming an absolute great event very rapidly. And, you know, for our viewers to realize, the question panels, the question submissions stopped at midnight. And we're still getting them. And doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be excluded, but we've already started the vetting process. So I want you to be aware that it's a process that we have to do, because if we took questions up until the last minute of the debate, it just wouldn't happen. The facilities are going to be great. The attendees are going to be amazing. We're getting requests from all over Fall River, all over the area, and all over the state for this event. So remember, this is your debate. This isn't our debate. This isn't what we're doing for us. We're doing this for you, because this is a major event for Fall River. This is a major event for the Commonwealth. This is going to lift the charter school cap. And when you listen to both sides, you say, oh, well, you know, we're not even at capacity yet. There's 50-some-odd thousand seats still available, da-da-da. And people are saying, oh, you got to wait for this and that and the other thing, and the waiting list so long. What's the sense of doing this? Come to this debate. Come to this debate. Find out what this is all about. Because I'm going to tell you, if you don't come out, you're never going to know. And we have questions on the ballot on November 8th, 20-some-odd days away, that really you should be informed about. And if you're not informed, then you can't make a vote that would be meaningful to you and meaningful to the people. You have to make sure you know the facts. And obviously, in a debate, in a forum like this, you're going to get both sides. And not everybody's going to be happy. But at least it'll give you an idea of where we're going with this issue.
Well, at least their view of an idea, and that's the key. But as George Carlin said so well, the thing they fear the most is an informed voter. So it's up to all of us to do as much investigation into issues, especially critical issues like this, education and things like this, that you know, there are two sides, and you know, this is a great debate, because there's going to be a lot of information out here, and you know, it's up to you to sift it and look at it. But you know, what we have here is from what I see is two sides, and neither side, as far as I'm concerned, it's my personal opinion. You can think the public education system's the greatest thing in the world, and you can think that the charter schools are the best thing that ever happened. I think, as with most things, they both have problems. We've seen throughout the country some charter schools that mismanaged money, that misled, that said they had 400 students when they had 40. They mismanaged money. There was money missing, and then we also know that the public school system obviously is just full of positions that are just, they're way top heavy with administration, and we know that, and they're all political jobs, and yet, but I mean, the reality is we have to have an educational system, because education is an integral part of the next generation moving forward and keeping, making this country a better place. So we have to try to fix the problems in both systems, but we also have to kind of pick a side. And we are actually in a position now where, you got to put your money where your mouth is. So you got to pick a side in this, or you just don't vote and you kind of abstain. And then if things don't go the way you want, or things go south, you can say, well, it's not my fault I didn't vote. Well, it kind of is your fault, because the first step to making it better is to first weigh in on this, and then we can deal with the issues. And regardless of what happens, this is just the first step in something that it's really highlighting education. And I think it's an issue that we have to not put it away after this election. We have to fix the system. This is a choice about what's going on within the system. But this is the first step in the public and heightening public awareness to try to fix our educational system, because it's failing. And the first thing out of the gate is come in here, educate yourself, listen to both sides. And ironically, I just left a meeting with one of the people who's participating in a debate, because I was at an insurance advisory committee meeting with one of the opponents of this of charter schools. So obviously we weren't talking about that. We were talking about health care. But everybody's getting ready. Everybody, the adrenaline's gone up. The people who are participating are invested in this. They have a dog in this fight, and it's something that obviously is becoming extremely, extremely interesting to the public, because the tickets have flown off the shelves, so to speak.
Yeah, and we had a small ticket system problem yesterday. The company that we use for our tickets is Eventbrite, and at about 3 a.m. their systems went offline. They were working all day yesterday to bring their systems back online, and they finally got them up around 9 p.m. last night. And again, the tickets started getting out the door. So it's important that you realize that you must, and I can't say this clearly enough, you must have a ticket. Dignitaries, VIPs, elected officials, all are assigned a ticket. They have a special section in the auditorium, obviously, because they may be called upon or something along that line. But even they are required to have a ticket assignment. And if you don't have one, there is absolutely no guarantee that you will gain admission to this debate. None. And I can't make it any clearer than that, because without that ticket, which guarantees you your seat, we don't know if you're going to get one. Because if this sells out, which it's quite possibly will do, because everyone likes to wait till the last minute as well, and we've already gotten rid of well over half of our tickets, I believe. We're probably up at 3/4 or 4/5 of our tickets gone. You don't want to wait until the last minute and be, there is no cost. There's no cost for the ticket. It just makes sure you have a seat. And I'm receiving phone calls. Yesterday I was receiving tons of phone calls because the systems were down. And I had a workaround that I could get some of the tickets issued for people, but it makes it very difficult. And again, we'll be vetting the questions starting today, and we'll be determining which ones are going out there. It has been confirmed that Adam Bagney from WJR-TV Channel 10, which seems to love to partner with us for some reason, is going to be the moderator. This will be a very informative debate. It's going to be ready, willing, and able to provide you the information I hope that you need. And if you didn't submit a question and your questions aren't answered, it's one of those situations that if you don't ask, you never find out. No question is ever stupid. But we really need to make it very clear. We have partnered with some great people. We've partnered with FRC Media, which we're always very grateful for all the work that they do here at Bristol Community College and the use of their studios and their equipment, and in some cases, their staff. We So we have partnered with FRC Media in this, and they're working as co-producers. And also, I want to thank President John Sprague of Bristol Community College and the Bristol community staff and community for their support in this event. They felt that this was necessary for their mission as well. So I want to see this become one of the best debates we've ever had. And I really think we're going to have a great time doing it. And I think the viewers are going to have a good time. This will be airing here on Channel 95. The video streams will be available on YouTube, on Facebook Live, Channel 10. I'm not sure which of their frequencies they're going to use. It could be Channel 10.2, 10.3. I know they're going to be airing it on their website. We do have video feeds available for various media outlets, and we also have feeds available for radio. So we've gone the nth degree. We took the nth step to make sure that every media outlet who wants this information has it. And if your media outlet isn't covering this, if your media outlet isn't bringing it to you live, either via radio, television, or press, because we do have some papers which have said they refuse to cover it. And that's okay. That's their publication decision. But when you don't get that information because of that outlet, remember, your ability to get the message across to them is you don't spend the money on their services anymore.
Yeah, and let me just, this is a unique debate because it's on one issue. It's not like a political debate where they can go off on tangents and begin to mix apples and oranges. And, this is about one question. And so it's going to be a good debate because they have to do a lot of homework and they're going to be called on it by their opponents if there are any. They're going to do their own fact checking, I'm sure. Otherwise, they weren't prepared for the debate. But let me make something clear. You're all VIPs that come to this debate. The people of the Commonwealth. This is what Spindle City Straight talks about. It's about being, representing the people, telling what we feel needs to be said, and with no political leverage being applied. We say what we feel needs to be said, and it's the people who are the VIPs. By necessity, people who are working, on the show and political and politicians who have something to do with this legislation have a reserved section. But the fact is, don't think that to me, you are the most important people going to this debate because you're the people that are going to vote this question up or down, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great debate. We're very fortunate to have Adam Bagney, a very well-known area media personality, hosting the debate, and it's going to be great. So just get ready for Monday night and let's get it on. So let's segue into something else. I guess.
Well, just real quick, Monday's show. We are having a show Monday before the debate, earlier in the day, and we're going to focus a little bit on what's going to happen at that debate and anything that may have happened over the weekend. But remember, we're available over the weekend. Our number does pop up on the screen at the end of the show. If you want to get a question to us, you can still try to get it in. I can't guarantee it. And that's debate@scstonline.com. And tickets are still available at question2.eventbrite.com. That's EVENTBRITE. Get your tickets now because you may not have the opportunity to get them later.
Yeah, and let's get a lot of people there because, we know the politicians and the people with a vested interest in this are going to be there, but it's the people who are going to decide this ultimately. And as I said at the beginning, the most dangerous thing they can face is an educated voter.
Exactly.
So come to the debate, watch the debate, listen to the debate, and hopefully this will help you
And have a great
we're
time.
We're gonna get great satisfaction out of this debate, because we hope that it's going to help you make a more informed decision, and that's what this is all about.
Definitely.
So now I'm going to segue into another issue. I hear that our illustrious mayor, the Grand Poopah, was on the radio again, basically selling his streetscapes program again.
Yes.
And then he had all the minions on there, hyping it up and saying that it's only 13 million, it's not 19 million, it's only this, it's only that. But you know something? That's not accurate. The fact is, okay, you're right. This is typical political speak. What you do is you break up the bonds, and now you say, well, it's not really 19 because we're only spending 13 on streetscapes, and we're only spending $1.98 on this, and so a lot, $10 million $98 is a lot of money. So that's not the point. I want to make this perfectly clear, because your 3 minutes at citizens input, which is why I don't go there very often, but I thought it needed to be said. The will of the people has been put on the back burner. The fact that we're spending this much money and doing what they want to do without asking the people. I don't want to hear the thing, we get elected to make these decisions. No, you don't. That's the reason they passed an ordinance that said if you bond more than $5 million, it's got to go before the people. If you spend more than $20 million in 1 year, it's got to go on the ballot. But as usual, they circumvent the process by breaking it up. But let's everybody understand, they're doing this knowingly and willingly and intentionally to allow you, the taxpayer, who just got a water bill that went up a whole bunch, I'm sure, just like everybody I know's water bill did. And when you go for a permit or a smoke detector inspection or something, and you get hit with something that went up 300% or 400%, and anything else you get in City Hall. When I went to the meeting today, the Insurance Advisory Committee, I got on the elevator with two elderly people, and they were going up to the city clerk's office, and they were going to go pay all their bills, and the first thing they said in the elevator was, every time we come here, we only come here to get rid of money, and there should be some accountability. It's a constitutional mandate that there should be accountability, and I don't want that lost on the people. I don't care what they say. I don't care if you're in favor of streetscapes or not in favor of streetscapes. That's not the point. The point is, when you're spending this kind of taxpayer money in a city that is this financially strapped, that we don't have jobs, and you don't bring it before those taxpayers who are going to be burdened paying this bond, and their children will be burdened, and their grandchildren, and probably their great-grandchildren. You have an obligation, a duty. I spoke to a city councilor the other day. He's trying to explain to me how bonding is really, really good. It's fiscally prudent. And I said, no, it isn't. I said, bonding is supposed to be for necessary projects, absolutely necessary, especially in a city like this, absolutely necessary projects. And you only do it when you have to. It's not a regular thing, as they try to tell you to. It's just like credit. You have credit cards. If you're smart, you don't use them a lot. And if you do use them, you charge something on your credit card and pay it at the end of the month. You don't pay any interest. But now your credit rating goes up because it shows you pay your bills. If you pay everything cash, you don't have a credit rating because nobody knows if you pay bills. So, there's a prudent way and a fiscally responsible way to handle money. Bonding is not supposed to be the only way we get equipment every 20 years. It's supposed to be in the operating budget. We're not supposed to have to buy lawn mowers for the DCM every 10 or 15 years because we haven't bought any lawnmowers, and they're walking around, they're pushing push mowers, and a lawnmower, it's like a carpenter, a construction company not buying hammers. Come on. It's operating expenses in regular business world. Businesses bond. They take loans. It's a form of loan. They take loans. But what happens if they overextend their credit? They go bankrupt. Everybody's talking about Donald Trump. He owed almost $900 million. He had to file. Well, cities never go bankrupt except but we're on a way. Once in 100 years, they might go into receivership. Why? Because the taxpayer keeps getting milked, and they milk them until there's no more taxpayers to milk, and their bills are so high, and their bonds are so. We have so many bonds that they have to put us in receivership. And what happens? The state underwrites the bonding. We can't get a bond on our own. We're in debt up to our ears. But they're going to tell you that this is great. It's great to spend $2 million for a private sector organization to build a bridge. It's okay for you, the taxpayer, who has to pay higher fees, higher taxes, buy your bags, watch your recyclables, or you'll get fined. You can pay to put a facade on a privately owned building. If you're a businessman and you want to put a new facade on your building to attract customers, that's supposed to be part of your expenses as a businessman. So look at the contradiction in this scenario. The mayor is telling you that if you pay to put a facade on a building that apparently the business owner doesn't have a good enough business to pay for it on his own and then take it as a tax write-off, that somehow is going to make that business thrive. Well, what's the underlying cause of that business not being able to make enough money to afford their own facade? Nobody in the city's got any money. And no matter what he says, and I don't care what the proponents say, putting a paint job on a car with no engine doesn't fix the car. Putting lipstick on a pig doesn't make it an Arabian stallion. The fact is, this city is the poorest city in the state. We have one of the highest percentages of people living below the poverty level. How in the hell are you going to attract any businesses when the first thing a business looks at is the city or town it's moving in incomes? Do they have customers? Can they sell their product? We're in a city, I got a phone call last night recruiting me to go put an application up at Amazon. A robocall. And it was a great call. Come to Amazon and work for this company that works you like a slave, by the way. And you know what the great starting salary was? $12 an hour. Told me right on the phone. Come and get a $12 an hour salary. I mean, this is Fall River. This is what Kenny Fiola said was going to be, number one, they're not going to hire a lot of people from Fall River. And secondly, $12 an hour? Do the math. Do the math. It's going to take you a long time to pay off this 19 million people, and don't listen to the bull feces that's being spread out by on every little media, because the mayor can call Radio Pravda and put his opinion in Pravda, but just look at the reality of what we're doing here. We're fixing people's businesses who are his friends, and we're putting facades on things for people who do. If you own a business, it's up to you to enhance that business. That's part of doing business, except in government. Because in government, what they do is they screw everything up and continue to rape the taxpayer.
Chip, I heard part of the radio broadcast from the propaganda hour, and he's like, we have people that need to do this work, because he was justifying also the splitting of DCM into 2 departments. And I don't say that split was wrong. It was wrong when they combined them. Okay, when they took municipal waste and put it into, and what was DPW, and put it into community maintenance, which merged buildings and grounds, that's fine. And he's saying, but even in buildings and grounds, they can't do the job because they don't have the equipment. It's not that they don't have the equipment. It's not funded. So you can buy all the equipment you want. All the equipment in the world you want. But if they don't have the money to fund the repairs, if they don't have the money to fund the building maintenance, you're just pissing it out the window. And that's the problem we have. See, Fall River's problem is maintenance. We have a school that's 40 years old that's falling down around itself. The city needs to bond. Yes, they do need to bond to build a new school. And the bond itself does not have to go before the voters, because it's got to be of an $80 to $120 million bond, of which supposedly 80% will be covered by the state, supposedly. But they need to file for what's called a debt exclusion, which means the voters have to vote on that. And a debt exclusion means that the city gives you a 2.5% raise on your taxes under the 2.5 limit, and then they add taxes on top of that to pay for the debt, because the state won't guarantee that bond, and they need to be able to pay that debt service. So it's a runaround around Prop 2.5.
Fancy way of circumventing 2.5.
Right. It's a fancy way of saying here's a Prop 2.5 override. Now, the issue that I have with this is that he can spin it any way he wants. With it's only $13 million. $19.2 million was bonded Tuesday. Now, if I remember correctly, we bonded earlier in the fiscal year. And the city has a cap on bonding. You cannot exceed $20 million a year. So let's say they didn't bond earlier in the year, and they bonded 19.2. Well, I'm sure the mayor and his administration and his genius financial team are going to find a way to bond $800,000 for something. Now, I found out in discussion with several city councilors, one of whom said the only reason why I voted for it was because the only plan that is going to be implemented is Purchase Street. So that's why he voted for it. Now, Purchase Street runs from Bedford all the way up to Cherry. Okay? Now, we have a city council who has property there. We have a city peer official appointed by the mayor, owns property there. The mayor lives in that property. And part of that money is going to be given to that city official, city property owner, mayor's landlord, to improve the facade of the building. Well, let's not stop there. That individual also applied for $350,000 from the CPA fund so he can put in new windows. So, as you can tell, the greed just keeps coming. So, amazing, we bonded $19.2 million for streetscapes, but only one street is currently on the agenda to be done. And it's a political favor agenda. Can you people understand now? And then I got into a slight pissing match online about it, because they say, oh no, the city council wanted to deny you the right to vote. I said, no. The mayor proposed this, and they said clearly, we're doing it this way to not allow the voters a voice. We're doing it so that the people do not have to vote on it. That tells me you don't matter. So this administration as a whole does not care about the people of Fall River. It only cares about his agenda, not ours.
That's right. Stay angry. And if you want your buildings fixed, don't pay any of your taxes, your water fees. Get behind the right candidate, and you'll get them fixed by the taxpayer.
There you go.
Stay angry.
Have a great weekend, and remember, get your tickets now. See you Monday.